I punched my son's basketball coach in the face at a grocery store while my wife stood behind him holding a bottle of wine. 2 cracked ribs, 1 broken nose, and a concussion later. No one called me crazy. They called me right. But that was just the ending. The beginning looked like a perfect marriage. I worked. She ran the house. I'd get home late, and dinner was usually still warm. Not always, but often enough. She stayed on top of everything: practice times, team events, birthday gifts, teacher conferences, allergy meds, dentist appointments. I thought it was division of labor. I thought we were a team. I'd bring home the paycheck, and she made everything else function. That was the agreement, unspoken but solid. Our weekends were always booked. Games, errands, little day trips. We didn't sit still much. I thought that was a good thing. Active family. Involved parents. Supportive marriage. She was always at our son's games, cheering, clapping, hugging him after. Always chatting with the coach. Friendly. Maybe a little too friendly, but I didn't think twice about it. At first. It didn't click until our son started quoting the guy like he was scripture. Coach says I've got a real shot. Coach told me I've got court vision. Coach says I'm a natural leader. The kind of things a kid should be saying about his dad. That stung a little. But I told myself it was good. Better to have 2 strong male figures than 1, right? That's what I told myself. I didn't question why the coach had so much access. I didn't wonder why my wife smiled so easily when she said he was a great influence. I didn't see it for what it was. He wasn't just a coach. He was a placeholder. A replacement. For me. There was a game one weekend I almost missed. Traffic sucked. I was tired. I debated turning around. But I showed up. Pulled into the lot late, walked toward the court with a coffee I didn't want, and saw it happen before I sat down. Our son scored, turned toward the crowd, didn't even glance at me. He ran straight to her. She hugged him tight, then turned and leaned into the coach. They weren't touching. But they might as well have been. It was the lean. That slow, familiar tilt of 2 people who share secrets. Not the kind you say out loud. I didn't cause a scene. I didn't ask questions. Just sat through the rest of the game with my jaw clenched and my hands still. Told myself maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe it was nothing. But you know how sometimes you just know something's cracked, even if it still looks intact from the outside? That was me. I left early, before the team huddle ended. I didn't want to watch whatever came next. I started paying more attention. Not in a jealous, stalker way. Just noticing things. Her phone never left her side anymore. She started dressing nicer for practice runs. More makeup, tighter shirts. She said it was because the team had a fundraiser, and she was helping out. I nodded. I smiled. I stopped believing anything she said. Our son kept talking about the coach. More than he talked about me. More than he talked about his own friends. I became the guy who asked about school and was met with shrugs. She brushed it off, said he was just getting older. Boys pull away from their dads sometimes. It's natural. Natural. Like how she suddenly knew the coach's schedule better than she knew mine. Like how she started volunteering for all the weekend games even though she used to hate the sun. Like how she told me to take a weekend off from traveling with the team because he'd be fine without me for one game. I started having dinners alone. They'd be out, grabbing pizza with the team, or staying late for practice, or doing extra drills. I stopped asking questions because I didn't want to hear her lie again. I figured if I kept pretending long enough, it would either go away or explode. I didn't care which. We were still the picture-perfect family. Facebook said so. So did the parents on the team. Everyone said how lucky we were. Lucky. That word stuck in my throat like a stone. The last straw that season was the way she smiled when he walked by our car one day. We were packing up after a game. The coach strolled past, gave a nod, and she lit up. Not a polite smile. Not a friendly wave. The kind of smile someone saves for a person they think about when they're not supposed to. That night I sat in the living room, staring at the TV without hearing it. She walked past me with a load of laundry humming. Like nothing was wrong. Like we weren't already living in two separate timelines. It hadn't blown up yet. But it would. I didn't know how or when. I just knew I'd already lost her, long before I'd ever confront her. She'd made her choice. Now I had to figure out what I was going to do with mine. She got more involved with the team. Started showing up early, staying late. She offered to keep stats, organize carpools, bring snacks, take photos. Everyone loved her for it. The team moms called her Supermom. Even the coach joked that he didn't know what he'd do without her. That line hit harder than it should have, and he said it in front of me. I stopped going to every game. Told her I had work stuff. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I didn't. I just couldn't sit there anymore and watch her orbit around him like he was the sun. Couldn't keep pretending we were on the same team. She started running the house like I was a guest in it. Schedules changed and I found out last. Carpools planned without me. Team dinners at our place that I didn't know about until I came home to a driveway full of minivans. She was everywhere. Except with me. I tried once to pull her back in. Asked if she wanted to go out, just us, like old times. She smiled tight and said, "I'm swamped with tournament stuff." That was it. Tournament stuff. Like I was asking a stranger. Then one afternoon I came home early. No warning. Just done with the office, didn't even text her. Walked in through the side door and saw her standing in the kitchen, walking the coach out. He had a towel over his shoulder like he'd showered here, and a bottle of water in hand. She was laughing, really laughing, the kind I hadn't heard from her in a long time. When she saw me, the laugh stopped but her face didn't flinch. She said, "Oh, he just stopped by to talk about the tournament." I didn't say anything. Just nodded and walked past them. His eyes didn't meet mine. Hers didn't even bother trying. That told me more than anything else ever could. You don't flinch around someone unless you think you're doing something wrong. She didn't flinch. That was the part that hit the hardest. I didn't confront her. Didn't ask questions. What was I gonna say? Why was he damp? Why did he look like he just used our shower? Why are you laughing with him like you used to laugh with me? It didn't matter. I wasn't the audience anymore. I was just the guy paying the mortgage. A week later, I had to run something out to the car. Opened her trunk and found 2 beach chairs, a half-empty bottle of wine, and a bag with sunscreen, flip-flops, and a men's t-shirt that wasn't mine. We hadn't been anywhere. Not together. But she had. And now it wasn't even subtle. While I thought she and our son were off at a weekend training camp, she was having a vacation in pieces, with him. I stood there staring at it, trunk open, wondering what version of me she told him about. The distant husband? The boring one? The one who doesn't get it? That night, I slept in the guest room. I didn't tell her why. She didn't ask. Then the phone calls started. Her mother. Her sister. First it was subtle. "Is everything okay? She seems tired lately." Then it shifted. "Why don't you take her out once in a while? You've been so wrapped up in work, maybe you don't notice what she needs." One night her mom called while I was doing dishes. She didn't even bother to lower her voice. Just launched in. Said I'd been emotionally unavailable for years. That my coldness had driven her daughter to exhaustion. That I didn't appreciate what I had. "Some men would kill to have a wife like her. She does everything, and you sit back and judge her." I didn't argue. I didn't explain. There's no point trying to defend yourself when the jury already picked a side. I just hung up and stared at the sink. The water was still running. Later that week, my wife said her mom wanted to come visit. I said no. She didn't push it. She never really pushed anything. That's what made it worse. The indifference. The absence behind her eyes. We didn't fight. We didn't even really talk. Just traded logistics and avoided eye contact. Our son didn't notice, at least not right away. He was still locked into the season, still chasing praise, still chasing approval from the coach who now seemed more involved in his life than I was ever allowed to be. I kept showing up when I could, but it felt performative. He looked past me now. One night he came home late, said the coach gave him extra pointers, said he stayed after to talk. I asked him if his mom was there too. He said yeah, of course. She always stays. That part stuck with me. She always stays. I stopped trying. Stopped asking where she was, stopped checking in. There was no point. I'd already lost the plot. She had carved out a new role for herself, and I wasn't in it. I was just the background. The silence between us became the default. We passed each other in the house like people who used to know each other. Sometimes I'd hear her on the phone laughing. I didn't care who was on the other end anymore. I already knew. When I started locking my phone, she noticed. When I started eating dinner before they got home, she noticed. When I skipped a tournament and didn't even text to check the score, she noticed. But she never said a word. She knew. And I think that scared her more than if I had screamed. That silence, that stillness, I let it grow. I wanted her to feel what it's like to sit in something you broke. No drama. No scene. Just the cold air of being shut out. And she wasn't the only one who noticed. I started counting the days until I could get out without it turning into a circus. But then something shifted again. It wasn't her. It was our son. He came to me late one night, said something was weird. Said the coach had been different lately. Distant. Said Mom and the coach were arguing. I didn't say a word, just nodded. He asked if I thought something was wrong. And in that moment, I saw it hit him for the first time, really hit him, that something might not be okay at home. I didn't comfort him. I just said, "Thanks for telling me." Then I went to my room and opened the folder I'd been saving on my laptop. Photos, receipts, GPS pings, emails, 2 hotel bookings that overlapped perfectly with team weekends. 3 days before I planned to leave, I saw them in the wine aisle. I was grabbing dinner. They were shopping like a couple. Her hand near his arm. Laughing like they were in their own world. He saw me. Stopped. She turned around and her face went blank. I walked up and hit him. Straight in the face. He fell into the shelves. Bottles hit the floor. One cracked near his foot. She yelled something. I didn't stop. Hit him again. He dropped. Curled up. Blood on his shirt. People were yelling. Someone grabbed my shoulder. I didn't care. I went outside and waited on the curb. When the cops came, I told them what happened. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I said no. They gave me a fine and told me to take anger management. I drove home. She didn't come back that night. I packed a bag. Left proof on the table. Hotel bills, emails, photos. Put the house key on top. Walked out. 3 days later, she walked in. Said nothing. I didn't either. I came back once to get the last of my stuff. She watched me pack. I didn't look at her. Her mom called. Said I humiliated her. Said I destroyed the family. I hung up. The school emailed. The team parents sent messages. I told them to leave me out of it. Our son asked if I hated her. I said no. I just didn't know who she was anymore. The coach never came back. Health leave. They wiped his name from the site. The team fell apart. I left the state. Got a new job. Didn't say goodbye.